That sounds good, Logan. All right, so I promise to keep my speaking portion of the program brief, as I know you did not come here to listen to me. Rather, to celebrate the remarkable accomplishments of these young adults as they celebrate a major cornerstone. However, there is a tradition at Woke Virtual Academy commencement that I'd like for us to take a moment to appreciate. On behalf of the class of 2024, I'd like to express special appreciation for the staff, community members, neighbors, aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandpas, sisters, brothers, and so many more who have walked alongside these students throughout their lives in order to support their success. A very special thank you goes out to parents. This day is also for you. Thank you for loving unconditionally. Our graduates would not be here without you today. You have every right to be unbelievably proud. Leading up to tonight, we have asked our seniors to keep this portion of the celebration a secret. So let's see how they did. Each senior is currently in possession of yellow calla lilies underneath their seats. There is no way to truly capture in words the love that parents have for their children. Our seniors recognize this, and to show their gratitude, they will present you with a yellow lily as a symbolic way to say thank you. The yellow calla lily, when given to someone, symbolizes a deep sense of gratitude for your love, encouragement, and ongoing support. Our seniors want to send their heartfelt thanks to you for surrounding them with joy and love. Seniors, you may now present your lilies. It is customary at commencement ceremonies for the keynote speaker to deliver an uplifting message or tell about a life lesson learned through hard work. Tonight, I have the pleasure of stepping aside so that our seniors can tell you themselves what it means to be a prepared graduate. We are fortunate to have 3 of our very own who have graciously agreed, maybe with some convincing, to share their perspectives on their educational journey and how it has prepared them for success in life. As you can imagine, it takes a ton of bravery to agree to public speaking. So please help me to warmly welcome and encourage our first speaker, Jocelyn Alfaro, with a round of applause.
Hi, family and friends. My name is Jocelyn Alfaro, and I'm so excited to be given the opportunity to speak with you all today, this evening, about my time at WOPA. As we collectively started high school together, we unfortunately had to navigate through the world of isolation and online schooling. Instead of face-to-face interactions in bustling hallways, we were faced with a new way of education challenging us in unexpected ways. We overcame challenges other generations haven't had to face. When it came time to have a normal high school experience, some chose to stick to their new routine while others went back to in-person school. Whether you were faced with social distancing and new rules going to in-person high school, or navigating through a completely different system of schooling through a computer, you overcame the new and scary challenges. Today we recognize those difficult times as we stand here ready to close this chapter. My personal experience of high school is too long to put in a speech, so I'll break it down. My whole life, I have been in a social, carefree world where I wasn't concerned about my surroundings. However, high school puts you under tremendous pressure on academic performance, social dynamics, and future plans, which can cause stress and anxiety to us students. These stressors seem to affect me differently from my peers. It wasn't until the end of my sophomore year that I began to struggle to make it to school and keep up the motivation. By the time August rolled around and it was time for me to conquer my junior year, supposedly the hardest year of high school, I realized I would be facing a battle I wasn't sure I could do. Through many attempts and lots of support, I tried my best to make it to school. By Christmas, I had reached several absences, raising a ton of red flags. And before I knew it, I was sitting down discussing plans for me to switch from West Ottawa High School over to West Ottawa Virtual Academy. Knowing very little about this school, I decided to jump at the opportunity anyway out of desperation for education. First joining WOBA, it was an overwhelming process of learning their system, managing a new lifestyle, and holding myself accountable for literally everything. After adjusting to this new education process, I began to accelerate in school and my social life. I was less stressed, I was happier and healthier, and I was my best in school. Even though over time, I was able to manage my anxieties and return partially to in-person school, I will always be thankful for the road that WOBA led me down, for me to be able to be in front of you all today giving this speech. WOBA provided me with a safe learning environment where I was able to have one-on-ones with teachers, but also an amazing schooling system that was able to fulfill my needs. Since my time here, this new educational journey has helped me to become a more dedicated student. Having the ability to work at your own pace and take time processing the information encouraged me. There was no need to feel rushed and overwhelmed because you knew when all your assignments were due and were given plenty of time to work on them. When I returned to partially in-person classes, I was thriving. For the first time in my high school career, I was able to say I was proud of myself and all the work I had put in. Not only did it teach me accountability and discipline, but also uniqueness. Before having knowledge of this WOBA, my image of school was a typical 8-hour day in a building surrounded by the same people 5 days a week. When I decided to switch over, I looked at my new way of schooling as unusual and not the average student's experience. WOBA showed me that there was multiple ways to find success. There isn't just one path that everyone is expected to go down. We are given the opportunity to have another way of education. Before I end, I'd like to recognize the staff who have gotten us here. Mr. DeVries, thank you for checking in on us weekly and making sure we are on track and understanding the work. Mr. Nguyen, thank you for providing the safe environment where we feel comfortable to learn. Ms. Hopman, thank you for always making sure our classes were correct and ultimately looking out for and helping us. Without the help of you three, for me, I can't confidently say I'd be able to stand in front of you all today. WOBA has been a short but impactful part of my high school experience that has shaped me into a more responsible and hardworking person, so thank you. Thank you for being a place where students who may feel differently than other students, such as myself, can feel seen and accepted. Thank you for these years. Now let's start this new chapter.
Let's go, Callie. Woo!
Good evening. My name is Callie Bechtel, and I have been a split enrolled student between WOBA and the West Ottawa High School for the last year and a half. I have the privilege to share my educational journey with you tonight. When people had talked to me about my upcoming years in high school, I was so excited by what I thought would be the best years of my life. Unfortunately, I did not get that. Freshman year was my first year back since the pandemic hit. We now have 2-hour classes, had to wear masks, and other weird circumstances. But I still had faith that high school would give me everything I wanted. Sophomore year is when I accepted the fact that my high school years were not going to be easy for me. This is when I first turned to my family for help when I was struggling with anxiety and depression. I knew I wouldn't have a future ahead of me if I didn't ask for help. Therapy appointments every week removed me from my world history class, making it difficult to keep up. I tried to not let that take away my high school experience. But my anxiety and depression took over and it had become my priority. While enduring the challenges of mental illness, I was also diagnosed with autoimmune disease that we had little or very knowledge about. This is all the challenges I was already facing. It put more obstacles up that I had to navigate on top of going to school, going to therapy, having a job, and having homework pile up. I kept trying the best I could. Fast forward to my junior year of high school, I began the year with the highest of hopes, and so did my year. My anxiety and depression were finally under control, and my autoimmune disease symptoms had calmed down. But little did I know what this year had in store for me. My symptoms started back up, and that consisted of breaking out in hives constantly, having inflamed rashes all over my face, and very swollen eyes. At this point, I did not feel comfortable in my own skin. Having people fight it out in the hallways, saying how weird my face looked, and asking what was wrong with me, made everything 10 times worse. That's when the bullying started to happen. I never thought the people at my own school would make fun of something I couldn't even control. During this time, I was working with multiple doctors trying to get everything under control, but it just wasn't happening. My depression started to get bad again. I didn't want to go to school leave my house because I was scared of the people looking at my face and the condition I was in. During all of these hardships, my mom has been by my side every step of the way, making sure she was doing everything possible to keep me comfortable. She couldn't stand to see me get treated this way at school, but she was stuck. She didn't know what else she could do. This is when my mom reached out to the local community and asked if there was anything that could be done, even though the new semester had started 2 weeks prior. My mom never left. She was never going to stop until she found the solution to help me be successful at school while working on my health. Mr. Nguyen graciously worked with my mom to figure out a way how I could have half of my classes at the high school and half of them through WOBA. As much as I wanted to switch over to all online classes, I didn't want to remove myself from my friends and have no face-to-face interactions. Switching to a split schedule was the best thing that could have happened to me. When I was at my lowest, WOBA came in and made everything seem possible again. It allowed me to be able to finish high school. WOBA has taught me so much in the year and a half I've been here. I was welcomed with open arms into a community where I felt cared for. They gave me an opportunity to let me heal and become the best version of myself. WOBA is an incredible opportunity that West Ottawa has to offer. There were points at which I didn't think I would make it to graduation, but here I am, the best version of myself, and graduating. My senior year was finally my year. WOBA made this possible, so I'd like to give a huge thank you to Mr. Nguyen and Mr. Nguyen for making my high school experience worth it. As I move on to Grand Valley University next year, I learned to advocate for myself so that my health and academics can both thrive. Through WOBA, I have learned how to manage my time to complete my work, but also rest and take care of myself as needed. I have learned independence by not always relying on others to be there for me every step of the way as I complete assignments. This has made me a better problem solver. WOBA has assured me that there is more than one way to accomplish something. In the future, if I'm struggling with something, I know I can seek a different path that will lead me to success. This is my story, but everyone has their own. Whatever your story is, we all have in common that WOBA made our high school years better and made us successful. As we are now all going into different directions, I hope we will all look back and appreciate a school experience that might not have been traditional, but was perfect for each one of us. Thank you.
All right, Brooklyn.
Good evening. My name is Brooklyn Curry, and I'm a proud graduate of West Ottawa Public School and West Ottawa Virtual Academy. Today marks the end of our high school journey and the beginning of a new one, which means additional opportunities, new friendships, the start of careers, and many more things. During this school year, I honestly never once stopped and thought to myself that this would be the final chapter of my teenage years. It was not until I sat down, wondering what to say in the speech, worried if I even had all the right things to say. I'm honored to have this opportunity to stand in front of you and share my story today. I'm definitely not one for speaking in front of crowds and in front of people I don't know. So when Mr. DeVries asked me how I would feel about speaking at graduation, I froze, and my first instinct was obviously to say no. I told him I wasn't really sure how I felt about it, so I asked if I could have a little time to think about it to make a decision. I spent the next week or so contemplating on whether I should take this opportunity tonight to be able to speak and tell my story. It definitely took a lot of encouragement from my mom to stand up here in front of you all today. But I knew that this was a one-time opportunity, and I knew that it was going to be good for me. Now, if you would have asked me 5 years ago where I would be today, without a doubt, I wouldn't have told you that I'd be standing here, let alone having the opportunity to graduate high school. 5 years ago, my life took a turn and not for the better. But in order to fully explain my battle, let me take you back to when I was 3 years old. At 3, I was first diagnosed with leiomyosarcoma, which for those of you who don't know, it's a muscle tissue cancer. We had multiple surgeries to remove the tumor from my leg, and after that I had to get MRI scans every 3 months just to make sure the cancer was gone and it didn't reoccur. Then, when I was 8, I was officially put into remission because all my scans and my surgeries were clear. After I was put into remission, they were having me go to scans now once a year, and everything had been fine for almost another 5 years. Until one day I was in the middle of my 8th grade year when my mom and I got a call from my doctor giving us the news that my tumor had returned and my cancer was back. From that one phone call, my whole life flipped, and I didn't have a clue what the future was about to hold or how hard this journey was going to be. Fast forward, the next 2 years consisted of surgery, lots and lots of physical therapy, with learning how to walk again. Most importantly, lots of time focusing on myself, my physical health, and as well as my mental health, as I had really started to struggle with my depression and anxiety more than I have ever had in the past. Recovery for me consisted of many things: keeping up with physical therapy a few times a week, trying out counseling to help with my mental health, all while experiencing nightmares, flashbacks, and even more intense emotions. I was filled with so much anger that I just wanted to know why. During this time, I was battling my depression, and the emptiness I felt was heavier than it had ever been. I was just trying to survive day by day, which in itself was hard, but I was living each day like it could be my last. I was just trying to make the best of a bad situation. I would, and sometimes still do, forget just how precious your life can be, and how lucky I am to still be here. And when I first heard about WOBA, I was entering my junior year. I convinced my mom to just go to the open house where they talked about all of the things about WOBA, and based on what was said, I knew that it was going to be the perfect fit for me since I was still struggling being so sick, while still trying to look after my health, as well as balance school, and getting to school with how often I was sick. Well, when my mom and I got home that day, we had a long conversation about it, listing out the pros and cons, and we both came to the decision that we would give it a try. School was truly always a struggle for me, starting from all the way back to elementary school because I was still not doing my health. I struggled to stay on top of work and keep on track with my classes. So when I heard about WOBA, I just had a gut feeling this was going to be life-changing for me and my education. The WOBA classes and the structure was really helpful for me. I got to work individually on my own time, and I had to hold myself accountable a lot of the time, which honestly was beyond helpful for me in my education. It worked for me because when I was sick and wasn't able to get out of bed, I was still able to get my work done and be able to work from home without it racking up my absences like it would if I was full-time in person. It was truly like a breath of fresh air for me, and it cut back a lot of the anxiety that I had. WOBA was honestly a game changer, and when the opportunity rises and I can just tell my story, I do. And I let people know what a saving grace it was, because it truly was all that. I don't think I would be standing here getting my diploma today if I hadn't taken the chance and put the trust into myself to just try it out to see if it was going to be the answer to my prayers. High school was challenging, and I think that everyone here at one time in our lives has felt like we couldn't do it or felt like giving up. But here we are, in our caps and gowns, our names being announced as we get handed our diplomas. We have officially made it. Now this chapter may be over, but we will forever have all the memories and experiences follow us through the rest of our lives. Here's to us making it through, and do what we have worked so hard for the last 4 years. Thank you.
Thanks, Callie, Brooklyn, Jocelyn. Awesome messages of wisdom, life. You guys are great. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so close to the part that you've been waiting for. But before we begin, I'd like to share one final thought. While virtual learning is not a new development, the recent pandemic forced us to find unique ways to connect, which undoubtedly percolated through how people work, how we interact with one another, and how we learn. I get asked this question more often than I care to admit. Why are your students choosing virtual learning? A question that I have the privilege to answer like this. Our students are selecting a different format because they are taking charge of their learning and life. Those who are not in the know are often surprised when I share that the vast majority of our graduates are college and career bound. They have robust post-secondary plans and are choosing to take virtual courses so that they can create more opportunities for their success in the future. All three of our speakers shared some version of this sentiment in their speeches, but I'll reiterate. I'm incredibly proud of our soon-to-be graduates because in making a conscientious decision to enroll in a virtual program, they have already made what many of us would classify as an adult decision. To all of our seniors, thank you for allowing us to be a part of your educational journey. It's truly been a privilege. Now, in order to commence the presentation of diplomas, I'd like to invite Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Tim Bearden, to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Nguyen. Again, my name is Tim Bearden, and it's my proud privilege to be the Superintendent of West Ottawa Public Schools. I want to thank and appreciate our members of the Board of Education who are here this evening who have been just extraordinarily supportive of WOLVA. I want to recognize a couple of folks that are here in the audience to my right. Todd Togeski is the Associate Superintendent for Secondary Curriculum Instruction. It was really Todd's vision that led to WOLVA being an alternative option for students in our district. He's been the driving force behind making this happen. He had a vision, and not only did he have a vision, he executed a plan in a way that was really successful and special. So thanks, Todd. Toon Nguyen, Mark DeVries, they make this happen every day, and we really appreciate them because they do offer these students an opportunity to do something different and to find their own path and to forge their own way. Behind each one of those diplomas is a story, and we heard 3 of them tonight, but each person who's sitting over here and those that aren't here in attendance tonight have their own reasons and their own story, but as Mr. Nguyen said, it's a sign of strength, not weakness, to search for an alternative when you know something's not working for you. And all these students have done that, and we're super proud of them and super happy to be here celebrating with them and with all of you this evening. Each of these students has completed the requirements of graduation for West Ottawa Public Schools, as well as having met the requirements prescribed by the state of Michigan for a high school diploma. It is my proud privilege to present all of them to you as graduates of West Ottawa Virtual Academy, and we are going to present them with their diploma.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brad DeVries, and I serve as mentor and coordinator for West Ottawa Virtual Academy. It is with great privilege that we get to announce the names of our graduating seniors as they walk across the stage to receive their diplomas. However, we're going to do things a little bit differently than usual. Instead of letting them off the hook quickly by saying their name, I first make them stand, and I'm going to share a few thoughts about all these students. Now, I'll keep it short and sweet, and there's nothing I can say that comes anywhere close to some of the most amazing speeches we've heard. Also, normally audience members are asked to hold their applause until all names are read. However, for tonight's celebration, we invite you to clap, to cheer for each graduate as they receive their diploma. So, to kick things off, I'm going to ask Jocelyn to stand. Gotta find my paper. Oh, I think I left it down there. Can you help me out, Mr. Nguyen? Please. Yep. All right. As you probably noticed, even if you maybe just met her today, Jocelyn's positivity affects everyone around her. See, there's a smile. Jocelyn, it's been my pleasure to work with you over the last 2 years. There were some growing pains at first to figure things out, as you mentioned, but you always put in your best effort with a big old smile on your face. It was genuinely great to chat with you on a weekly basis. We discuss school, work, life, and just kind of whatever. This last year as a senior, you really stepped it up, and practically everything turned in, not just on time, but well ahead. Almost, well, 1 or 2 lates there, but it was almost a perfect year. I love it. So it's been great watching you grow and mature here with WOVA. So Jocelyn Arabella Alfaro, you may walk across the stage to receive your diploma. Let's clap it as you guys want to do. That's awesome. So, sorry, I tend to yell a little bit. Not used to it, Mike. So, you guys never yell, right? On the virtual calls? Never speak too loud? Thanks, I'll keep your mouth shut. Perfect. All right. So, up next, we have Callie. And as you know, Callie can obviously tell her story better than I can. Thanks for remembering to stand. I met you a while ago in a different role, and it's been really cool working with you again here through WOVA. When you first joined up, I didn't have a clue with everything you were going through, and it's pretty abnormal for us to have someone join in the middle of a semester, a few weeks in there. The reason for that is we don't see a lot of student success when that happens. It's really hard to learn a new mode of learning, and hold of everything, and either way, you just kind of, I don't know how it was for you, but you looked like you hit the ground running, okay? I was really impressed how easy you made it seem. I look forward to our meetings because we ended up not having to talk too much academics, but getting to talk life and your job and just see how things were going for you your senior year. No matter what you end up doing, the skills and responsibility you built here with WOVA are going to help you out, and I know you're going to find success. So, Callie McKenna Bechtel, you may walk across the stage to receive your diploma. Kayla, could you stand up, please? I remember that. Kayla, I was kind of hoping you were going to make a speech too, but you turned me down. Honestly, I would have loved to hear from everybody. I know a lot of other stories here, but anyway, Kayla, you've been part of what we're here for now the last 2 full years. I've loved how much you participate in everything to our end of the year cookouts. I could rely on you to be on the meetings every single time, which that means a lot. It's great. Now, sometimes our meetings got interfered with a little bit by the internet, and if there were clouds out, I knew we were probably just making a phone call instead. But you did a great job connecting with me. Sorry, I lost where I'm at here because I just started ad-libbing like usual. So, last we spoke, you were not really considering college, but you do have a really cool plan. And I love how much you challenged yourself this year, either way, with all the difficult classes you take. If that is the route you end up going at some time, I know you're going to crush it, okay? And what I really love about you is every time we chat, you're always mentioning something about your family, going up north to the cabin, all of that. Sorry, where am I here? But basically, I just want to say you'd be someone who I'd be very proud of. If you're in my family, I know your family is extremely proud of you. So, Kayla Elaine Burkhorst, you may walk across the stage to receive your diploma. Surprise. Brandon, stand up. How we doing, man?
Pretty good.
Awesome. So, good to see you, it's been a few weeks. Braden joined us at WOVA in the middle of our first semester, and it was a difficult experience for you at first. What I love to see is that you never once gave up. You worked here with me in the building, we made plans for success. Whatever I asked of you to do, you did it without complaint. After spring break, when so many of our seniors are caught with the senioritis bug, you stood out by probably being our most responsible high school senior. Everything, getting it on time, coming in here a few days a week to work with me. I'm so proud and impressed with you. As far as I know, because we chatted out there, it seems like you've already started up on your career path in plumbing, which you've kind of talked about a lot all throughout this year. So, again, it was awesome to meet you and work with you. I'm so glad you got through this. You did a great job, and I mean, if I ever have some leaks or something like that, I'm probably calling you, all right? So, anyway, Braden Edward Bicknell, you may walk across the stage to receive your diploma. Riley, would you stand up, please? So, Riley, you participated in the other graduation as well, which is cool. You're one of our split students, like Callie here at WOVA. You made it on time, even though it sounds like your car completely ran out of gas, and we got your tassel and everything, so awesome. So, Riley, she joined us from New Zealand, joined West Ottawa this year with a split schedule between the Tech Center and WOVA Virtual. When talking, I enjoyed hearing about the entrepreneurship program and kind of what they do at Tech, because I don't know a lot about that. It's not my wheelhouse so much. And I thought that you just did a really good job with everything virtual right off the bat. Sometimes we missed a meeting or two here and there, but I knew if I called you up, you'd answer and we could sort things out, okay? You did such a nice job, and I really, you're so reliable. It was awesome to be like that. Through your schooling in Zealand, you mentioned that you've seen the damage that mental health issues have caused your fellow students over the years. And it seems like you've been studying psychology, really enjoying it this year, and you plan on entering that field in order to help other young people who are struggling. I think that's so awesome. So, Riley Sue Clark, you may walk across the stage to receive your diploma. Please stand up, Dylan. So, Dylan has been with us for WOVA Virtual 3 years, and you were online that freshman year as well, too, as everyone was kind of figuring stuff out. So he's going to be the first graduate of our program who's with us all the way through. There we go. This option that you started up kind of born of the pandemic and continued maybe in part because you weren't exactly how you feel going back to school. It has been great for you. I met you on probably my first or second day working here because it was my first time as well 3 years ago. And I was just really impressed with you off that first meeting. You were nice to talk with, incredibly polite. And often at the end of our meetings, you always find one or two extra questions to ask me, but often one of them was, hey, how are you doing? Or how's your weekend? What are your plans? And I really appreciate that. It was genuinely awesome to talk with you. Mr. and Mrs. Strauss, you guys raised such a wonderful, polite young man. So where am I at now? Gotta look down a little bit more frequently. So last spring, you and your family went through some tough times. And also, this last semester even, you challenged yourself with some really difficult courses. And you learned some lessons there. And I love to see how you've turned every obstacle into a chance to grow. And I think you're gonna have a blast back in person at college. So, Dylan J. Drost, you may now walk across the stage and receive your diploma. Brooke, would you please stand up? I would love to chat about you, but we actually have someone else who came by and would like to speak a few words. Emily, would you join me? You're already up.
Good evening. My name is Emily England. I'm a teacher at West Ottawa High School, and it's my privilege to introduce you to our next WOLA graduate. Sorry, I can see you. Brooke Polly. Brooke, as our favorite artist, Taylor Swift says, it's been a long time coming. I met Brooke 4 years ago when she came to West Ottawa High School as a freshman, and I've had the privilege of walking alongside her and being her person for the past 4 years. When trying to think about how to introduce Brooke to all of you, I was really unsure where to start. I could tell you so many amazing things. She's very kind and generous, and she sets a great example every day for everyone in our class, even when we've had some unique behaviors. But I think one of the most important things about Brooke is her resiliency. Brooke has faced more adversity, challenges, and difficult situations than any high schooler should, but it's never broke her. Brooke, on your darkest of days, you found a way to stay focused on the future and continue to do everything you could to keep up with your classes and reach your goals. I'm so proud of you, and I thank you for allowing me to be part of your journey. Brooke, no matter where you go in life or what challenges you face, I know that you will succeed because your resiliency is a part of your character. When you look back on these days, I hope you remember what Taylor Swift said. Take the moment and taste it. You've got no reason to be afraid. Brooklyn Grace Polly, you may walk across the stage to receive your diploma.
Hey, I'm fine with that.
Thank you, Emily. All right. Get it all lined up here. Jaden, would you please stand up? Don't. Jaden joined us for his senior year because he knew that you were going to have a hard time with attendance in person, and this was just going to work better for you. I think that was an awesome call, okay? Most students meet me once a week virtually, but not Jaden. He shows up to the building, which I loved. He drove down almost every week for our weekly meeting, got some work done here, and it was great getting to know you through that. I'm sorry, recently you've kind of run into some harder times, and I've been so impressed with how you've handled yourself, okay? Instead of getting down, you've stayed positive. You've controlled what you could control, you kept on smiling, and I think had an even better academic semester than the first one, which was pretty good on its own. It's been really great to get to know you over this last year, and just like Brooke, your resiliency continues to impress me. I've heard a few different ideas of what your plan is going to be post high school. They all sound great, and I'm sure whatever one you choose, you're going to crush it, all right, man? So, Jaden Trost, you may walk across the stage to receive your diploma.
Graduates, once again, I want to say congratulations. I'm so proud of each of you. You may now turn your tassels from the right side of your caps to the left, indicating that you are now graduated. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the graduating class of 2024. Students, you may throw your caps. Thank you so much for coming tonight. This concludes the formal portion of our celebration.